For over 2 decades, SINE at IIT Bombay has been the quiet force behind India's startup revolution. Inside these rooms and labs, ideas took shape, founders found direction, and prototypes became products that reached the world. This is where innovation was nurtured, where collaboration sparked breakthroughs, and where future leaders began their journey. SINE continues to empower the next generation, proving that big change always starts with a small idea and the right ecosystem.
When we said that we are ready with another idea, which is a ceiling fan, so everybody was stunned that why you are doing it.
What did IIT teach you that you would say that both of you were able to build an institution like Atomberg?
Atomberg Technologies is a Make in India brand that cut fan electricity use by 65% using BLDC technology.
SINE, we got one office there, and that office was more luxury than our choice. Soon we decided, as we got incubated at SINE in 2012, so we decided it is a better space to stay, office. And we had a small blanket and we used to sleep there. Our batchmates left anyway, they started doing their own jobs and getting very good packages. So we used to hear that people are getting very good packages.
Being a co-founder is like being in a marriage, right? And it's even worse because now you are stuck in a cap table. So what were your thoughts? What is the story?
I think we started as a competitor than friends because we used to play football, and where I think, I along with one of my friends used to have like a real competition with Manoj and one of his friends.
Football rivalry.
So what are the things that are being underestimated at a global level when it comes to the Indian startup ecosystem?
The fact is, every 5, 6, 10 years, the characteristics of the Indian market, the size of the Indian market, that changes.
How did the first few crores feel like?
I remember, the first time I got the 1 crore capital person, I saw that message 3-4 times.
And how did customer aspirations change, and what were some insights that you thought, okay, this is the way a customer or a consumer might think, but then some anecdotes or some particular insights on the customer side that surprised you?
And we have seen in extreme east, in extreme villages, they are still buying Atomberg fan, and when we deep dive, we figured out that they are not buying our fan because we are energy efficient or remote controlled or designed, but they are buying it because
if 2 guys from an IIT hostel can turn ceiling fans into a global ambition, maybe the game isn't about ideas. It's about how long you're willing to stay in it when nobody believes in you. Build where it's hard, stay when it's messy. And if you're wrong, at least you'll have a hell of a story to tell. My guests today are Manoj Meena and Shibabrat Das, the founders of Atomberg. So welcome to the show, Manoj and Shibam. Very happy to have you here. So before we start anything about Atomberg, the first question I want to ask is, you chose the toughest problem possible, building hardware in India. Most founders who consider them to be smart always choose the simpler problem to solve. So why hardware?
Yeah, I think I would say most of the founders, right? I wouldn't say they would look for a simple problem to solve. Everyone have their own journey and experience. In our scenario, like back in college at IIT Bombay, we got exposed to the robotics, engineering, and some of the tougher challenges which were linked to hardware. And being super keen in robotics and engineering, we were used to participate in lots of competitions around, and that's how the whole foundation began, being exposed to the hardware on day one during college days. And eventually, when we got into entrepreneurship journey, fan was not the first product. We got into various projects for BRC, DRDO, ISRO, IITs, and other research laboratories in data acquisition, process controls, etc. So they were all hardware, software, mixed kind of projects. So that was the initial exposure. And there was again a learning. 4 to 5 ideas failed initial 3 to 4 years. And eventually we got into fan. And that is also a story and a journey, to discover fan. Yeah.
Understood. But why fans? I mean, EVs, drones, you had IdeaForge as somebody to look up to coming out of IIT Bombay. So I'm curious, why fans? There were even more interesting things to solve in hardware.
Yeah, so initial hardware journey around process control systems, motors, etc. Those were kind of good challenge from technical point of view, and it was super fun to interact with these faculties, scientists, and every year we were very curious about to solve what's new we are going to solve this year. Every year we used to do few projects, 5-6 projects. That's how we were also bootstrapping and surviving. And there was a sense of pride that we are doing cool things. These are some of the hardware things which people rarely do. So we are learning good, and it was fun that way. But nothing was scalable, right? And it was also very clear to us from day one that we want to create, a larger impact, touch millions of life. And there was a thought always, behind that, being an engineer, getting into hardware, starting a company, getting that much lucky to start such kind of journey. It is also your responsibility to give back to society, and do solve tough problems for them. But yes, what problem we will solve which could touch millions of lives was unclear to us. And fan was something which is running on a motor, and the new motors are electrically commuted, and those were our past experience. So we realized that with these past learnings, we can revolutionize a simple and boring product like fan. But if it is running in every home, right? That way you can create much larger impact. And that's how we got into it.
Understood. That's a lot of self-awareness at that age, I would say. But coming from IIT, I mean, why didn't you choose the traditional path of jobs and then maybe learn about hardware and then coming back to building it on your own? Because that's the path generally people take.
Yeah, so Shubham and my journey would be different, right? And in my scenario, as I said, I was super keen in robotics and electronics. I used to participate in lots of technical festivals from my year one, and used to win also, luckily, with God's grace. So that thing gave a confidence that you can create something, right? And you can win. So that mindset got created during early days as a student, that you can create something from scratch and you can win. During final year, then there were certain good examples. There is SINE, of course, which is incubation center at IIT Bombay. At our early days, we got exposed to SINE. We got few examples like Idea Forge team. They were our seniors only. So we realized that this could be also a opportunity or a career path.
Got it.
How to trace it, what journey, all those things were completely unknown.
Yeah.
How to write a business plan was also completely unknown to us. But then we decided that this could be a better opportunity to pursue your passion.
Understood.
That's how I think I personally got into entrepreneurship.
Understood. And for you, I think it was more on the sides of making a business, right? I mean, from what I have known about you, you tried a number of things. Can you walk me through that journey in college?
Yeah. No, I think so if I go back to, let's say, in our college days, right? So I think the first business that I had it was in my second year, but it was a very simple trading business where we used to trade silk from Assam to, where we just did one transactions and then figured out that it's a very too capital intensive business and unable to sustain for a college kid like us, right? So then we did one more project with a couple of friends, where back in days, developing a website itself was a business, which is of course no longer a relevant business in the AI world.
Yeah.
But that was the case back in 2010. Then in my third year, we started a e-commerce business into cosmetics, along with a couple of my friends more. We raised some capital as well. So
how much did you raise at back then?
So I think when I was in third year, second sem, we did raise around 1 crore.
Wow.
Right. We burnt all of that by the time we finished our college.
Of course.
Right? So I think then we had to, eventually had to leave that. But what I wanted to tell you is that from my second year only, I always had this inclination towards business, right? And I think we were lucky that when we actually entered college in 2008-9, there was also the era where entrepreneurship in general was getting a lot of, I will say,
tailwinds in that direction.
Tailwinds, or getting into the kind of culture, right? Yeah. Because before us, we should think about people going out, doing masters, etc. I think at our time, there are enough people who actually have started doing entrepreneurship, right? So examples like Ola, examples like housing, all of them actually have evolved at that point in time. Idea Forge is a very good example. So yeah, I think a mix of culture plus the personal inclination towards business is what I will say have probably pushed me towards entrepreneurship. And once you enter, then you enter. You can't go back.
True. I think we have heard from Manoj that he was technically more sound than you as a tech guy. But then, what did IIT teach you that you would say that both of you were able to build an institution like Atomberg? And what were the values that were imbibed? What were the learnings, the peer learnings that you got? Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, no, of course. I think, I will say, look, IIT definitely helps you learn a lot of things, but I think more than hard skill, it is the soft skill and the qualities that you get, built during those years. And the first thing that I will say is just the conviction and the confidence, right? The moment you are in a very high talent density area, right? You are always surrounded by achievers who can dream big, who can think big. And once you start realizing that, big companies, big unicorns are founded by founders who probably are a batch or two senior from yours, that gives you a lot of confidence saying that, if they can do, then maybe you can also do. So I think it looks like it's reality and not like a distant dream. It's not like an isolated thing, etc. Right? So I think that one thing that you get as an advantage just purely because of the talent density and the ambitious people that you have around in IIT Bombay. So I think that is one that you definitely get from IIT. The other thing I will say is ability to all the grinding that you do, be it mid-sem and sem preparations, right?
Yeah.
And you still do okay, right? After all of that uncertainties and after all of that grinding. So I think that resilience as a character, as a quality, you also probably get built during those years, right? So yeah, I think IIT has anyway a lot of things to add and teach, but I will say more than hard skill, it is the soft skills and the qualities and the values that probably matter a lot when it comes to entrepreneurship and the journey that you have taken after that.
Understood. So can I safely say that IIT is a dangerous combination wherein it gives you the confidence to build anything, but without any context as to how difficult it will be in the future?
Of course.
Yes, they will not tell you this. Yes. So they will figure out once you are actually in that life.
Right. So being a co-founder is like being in a marriage, right? And it's even worse because now you are stuck in a cap table. So what were your thoughts? What is the story behind Shibam and Manoj becoming co-founders? If you both can throw some light on that.
Yeah, so see, it's not like that through Atomberg we are engaged and know each other. We know each other since Shibam was in his second year, and I was in my fourth year. And we shared the same hostel, same wing, and the business life started much later. Shibam joined,
I think we started as a competitor than friends because we used to play football.
Okay.
And where I think, I along with one of my friend used to have like a real competition with Manoj and one of his friends. And we used to have this fight over, after every dinner we used to have this competition and a lot of things. Yeah.
It's a football rivalry, right? We can say.
Very, very popular in college back then.
So that was one, and then sharing same wing, lots of hostel events. Although we were not sharing the common year, common department, but yes, as a hostel mate, you have a common spirit of hostel spirit.
Yeah.
So H4 was our common hostel, and we were super emotional about most of the hostel activities.
Right.
He used to do more than cheering, doing anti-cheering for other hostels. So all those things were part of our life, and those things created a different kind of bond. Right. So before getting into professional life, we were more of a friend or a colleague at a college and hostel level, and definitely have a different life after graduating. But we knew each other, and we were sharing same chawl after, there was no money when I graduated in 2011. So I decided to get into a chawl opposite to IIT Bombay gateway, main gate, and I was alone that time. So he was the first my chawl mate also. After the first
so wing mat, chawl mat, all of that.
Great. But then how did this relationship actually arrive at Atomberg as such?
Yeah. So I think what happened is, so Atomberg started with Manoj and two other, and one more, one of his batchmate. He was also from the same hostel, same wing. And as I said, I was running an e-commerce company, right? But within one and a half year, I had to shut that down because of lack of capital and all that stuff. And Manoj, our co-founder, he also left Atomberg because of some personal reason. and we were actually just sitting. I think either in Sunny Bar or maybe in Lakshmi. I don't remember that, but probably either Sunny or Lakshmi. We were just discussing about life and everything, and we just thought why don't we just join hands and we probably have complementary skills. Manoj have immense engineering abilities, and I probably used to believe that I have some business skills. Then probably we thought let's try to shake hand and see if we can run this as an institution.
Institution, right. So folks who are building in IIT, Sunny Bar is where you have to be. Remember that. That's where relationships are made and then lead to a venture of this scale. So what were the early days of Atomberg like? I think you guys were incubated at SINE. So walk me through those days of SINE and how it helped you, or what value did it add, and if there are some incidents that you can share of that period.
Yeah, so SINE, we got one office there, and that office was more luxury than our chawl. Right? So soon we decided, as we got incubated at SINE in 2012, so we decided it is a better space to stay, office. And we had a small blanket and we used to sleep there.
Inside the office?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The office building was Crescent, it is still there. And so that way we were able to optimize our time, getting up there and going to hostel. Any of the hostel we can go to take shower, freshen up, back to work. So that's how the life was. And initial days, the interaction with the faculty and other departments was more, because we were doing certain projects for them, right? So that way we got in touch with various people, even lots of professors know us very personally. And in a project mode, you work like that. You have to deliver that project, and when you are delivering a project, you have to do certain night outs.
Yeah.
When you come to deliveries of those projects. So that's how it is. It's like a roller coaster. The stability was not there. It was like a
controlled chaos.
Rush that you have to, like very similar what we used to participate during college days, competition, right? And every getting new projects also, and excitement around what new we are doing. Then beyond that, we experimented multiple other ideas also. Reached out to some of the players for data monitoring, like cold storage monitoring. Monjani's was one of our potential customers during those days. Domino's, Mother Dairy, we were doing the reefer monitoring for them, the temperature sensing inside their vehicle and vehicle tracking. So again, those were different kind of instruction. We were interacting first time beyond our professors or scientists to get the project. So that was a different kind of experience then. But its life was good, like the home office, other colleagues, it was same. And then our batchmates left anyway. They started doing their own jobs and getting very good packages. So we used to hear that people are getting very good packages and they are still struggling what we are doing. So that was also there in our life. But yes, we had a good set of juniors and colleagues in campus. So it was kind of fun and work together, kind of an environment during initial days.
So, no, I think a few things definitely that comes to my mind when I think about those years, right? So one, of course, is going back to SINE, and every time I remember, with Poini ma'am, with Pradeep, we should discuss on some business plans, and when there's a review, let's say every 3 months, 6 months schedule. So at the time of every review, we used to go back and say the business plan has changed. And I think this happened multiple times, and they've been quite patient. I think that's probably a very good.
That's good, the value of SINE.
The value of SINE, yes. And then I think the other thing that I know, the first negotiation that I had to do personally was to actually with the SINE team. I think Prasad was there and Jitesh was there, and every month they will come back for a rent and used to say, give us 1 more month. And I think by the time we exited, the due was like for a year or so.
Okay.
So that I think is another memory that I have about SINE, and the way they have added value, of course. Right. Apart from, of course, all the strategic guidance that you get, the loan that you get, and that the mentorship that you get. I think some of these memories are quite
will stay with you.
Yeah. And another good thing was the kind of connects we got. So for example, when we built our first prototype of ceiling fan.
What was it like, the first prototype?
It was a golden feather, remember?
It was
golden color.
Yeah. We intentionally painted gold. Nobody buys golden fan. That was a special, so we painted gold.
I think we should auction it now at some point in time. Could give us good money.
So there's a romantic version of startups that, there's a lot of struggle, you're trying to do things, but you're basically just trying to survive the next week, next month, I could say. And I think it takes a lot of strength to overcome those hardships. And with an ecosystem support like SINE, I think the journey becomes far easier. I would like to know what your mentors thought about your different iterations and different products every now and then. Because I'm sure SINE had a mentorship pool back then also. What were their views about it?
See, generally, when we were interacting with SINE, they appreciated the ideas around data acquisition systems, B2B, right? Because they were technical in nature, and we were able to survive and operate in a project mode. Do one project, survive for 1 month, do another project, survive for another month, but nothing was scalable, right? And that's the reason we were experimenting what new we can find, what idea we can find which is scalable, right? So that's the reason we were pivoting. And to us, every idea was a good idea by then, right? Whatever works is a good idea to us. So that was one thing where mentors, advisors, they were okay when you are experimenting the ideas within those B2B and project mode. But when you are looking for something like fan, when you say, yeah, I'm going to compete with incumbents who are there for last 50, 100 years, one of the incumbent will complete 100 years just now, right? So that you can do Google and find which one.
Sure.
So that's how the life was, right? So when we said that we are ready with another idea, which is a ceiling fan, right? So everybody was stunned that why you are doing it, and we have to convince them. And convincing them was a little difficult because they were also right at their point of view, because in this industry, if you see, there is no new company, right? And no new age company actually established in small home consumer appliances. And challenge is not only technical, challenge is also around marketing, sales, how you position yourself, create brand. It's going to be a long journey. But we pitched the idea that at least we can make this sellable to B2B people, schools, colleges, hospitals, who understand the value of energy efficiency, right? And this motor consumes only 28 watt power, where traditional fan consumes roughly 75 to 80 watts power. So there is a huge benefit in terms of energy saving. Roughly you can save, say, 1500, 1600 rupees per year. And in 2 years time, you can recover complete cost of the fan. And when you offer a 3-year warranty, it is a no-brainer for most of the B2B people who are able to do maths around the energy saving. So that was the sellable idea, and that's how we were able to convince that let us allow one more
iteration and a month inside SINE.
I think it was crazy, right? I mean, no amount of business plan, or let's say doing an SWOT analysis or whatever theoretical analysis one can do at that point in time. I mean, nothing can justify getting into this kind of category in business. I mean, none of us are from electrical category, none of us from consumer category. Forget about electrical at that point, right? We don't have an ABCD of brand. We don't know about manufacturing at scale. We don't know about service. And so there were, I think only the good part that happened, if I go back, I don't think we thought too much about anything, right? So I think being ignorant at that point in time was the only wise thing that we did. If I go back, I don't think there's anything that could have convinced us that we can do or create this kind of impact.
So what made you zero down on the fan? I mean, the only thing I want to ask here is that there were so many pivots that were happening. What made you think कि यार चलो यही बनाते हैं and this will actually go the distance?
So see, one is identifying the right product which is doing a meaningful value creation for somebody, right? So this 28 watt versus 75 80 watt, roughly 50 watt का delta है in products में, and it's a huge thing. Effectively, you can run 3 Atomberg fans
at the same power
which a traditional fan consumes. Or in other words, you can run it 3 times more longer on an inverter in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So we were sure that the problem is real, solution is good, which nobody has solved. And also it is something which is not affordable, it is very much affordable, right? The delta difference was not huge. If a regular fan comes in 2000 rupees, this is available in 3 to 3.5K, right? So that thing was there, the basics, and so we were not having any baggage, and we were open and ignorant and thinking from first principle. Was very actually helping us here? Then let's think from first principle, is it making sense or not? And let's identify who are going to be our early buyers. That was the one last question we need to answer. Who are going to be our early adopters basically? Is that a meaningful pool whom we can go and reach out and ask that would you be happy to sell our product or buy our product? So that exercise we did with some of the people who were selling LEDs, who were doing solar installation. These are distributors, B2B distributors, small ones. But through them, they showed very good interest that we have LED as an option in light, but we don't have any option in fan.
Yeah.
Right? And we are installing solar. And this is a very good package for us that we can pack it with solar, LED and energy efficient fans. So we were able to identify some good guys who were our early buyers. That's how the journey started. And now we realize that if not super scale, at least we can, zero down to this, B2B segment. It is a niche segment, but yes, that way we can enter into this category. Then how to scale it further, how to reach out to consumer is going to be a journey, and we have always had a patience. That is going to be a journey. There is no shortcut. But let's get into it first.
Yeah.
Right.
I think what you're also asking is that this is all once you identify that you want to work on fan, but what he's asking is how does fan
का eureka moment क्या था?
I think that answer is probably it can sound as simple as this, and
it won't sound simple. It would sound weird, but you
can be as weird as it is actually. Just me and Manoj were lying down, to be literally honest, right? We're just lying down in our flat. It's a Sunday afternoon, and we were discussing what to do in life because we have been there for last 3.5 years. Nothing was working, and everyone asking that what is next, and we were thinking what is next, and the fan was rotating, the ceiling, right? And I remember because I was just lying down. I think Manoj was saying that why don't you go and just change the speed? I think there was some for the reduced speed or whatever that right. And I was saying, why don't you go, right? And that time we discussed and said, why don't we make a smart fan, right? And that was the initiation, I will say that, where we actually had this idea of smart fan. We didn't know what BLDC at that point in time. Then Manoj did the groundwork and we figured out, there is a thing called BLDC fan where the energy efficiency was there. Then everything that Manoj said is after that day. But that day was this, how it happened.
Yeah.
Quite a Newtonian story from Isaac Das and Manoj.
It's like Apple
Manoj Newton.
Apple falling.
It was literally, that day I can't forget. I'm literally sleeping that day and just discussing random things. Yeah.
So tell me more about the fundraising part, because raising money in a hardware company from Indian VCs, I can only imagine being in that circle now. But 10-15 years back, that nobody would have heard of it, right? So walk me through the journey. How did that happen?
Fundraising, I will probably just put in two buckets, right? So one is raising the first 1 crore of capital, then raising the 6.5 crore of capital. Fortunately, the first 2 rounds were not that difficult for us. But the funny thing is, none of these were a bet from them that will become a consumer business. If you look at from the first 1 crore capital, right, the promoter family of Aarti Group, they wanted to build a venture fund, which is around clean tech at that point in time, and they were just about to formalize their process, right? And they've invested us because they thought we were a clean tech, green tech company.
Okay.
Right? Then when we went to the second round, then we went to, we met few investors and we probably pitched the idea of building a consumer business, whatever it is, right? And then the Parampara Capital, right? So now they're known as Inflexo. So they always wanted to build a deep tech fund, right? And they interacted with us. They found us technical, right? So took our product, gave it back to China, did some reverse engineering, and figured out that it's not easy to copy. And they thought we were a deep tech company, right? So the second
guy, a lot of due diligence. Taking it to China and then
they have done that. So I think yes, they have done that, and they've got the return also. So that's okay. Yeah. So they, I think, that they invested as a deep tech fund, right?
Yeah.
But the real struggle happened when we actually are doing quite good in terms of revenue, right? We're doing like 2.5 crore a month. 2018, we got some early success in consumer as well, and we wanted to raise now real $10 million to build a manufacturing facility, to build a marketing distribution facility, right? Go deep into the consumer side. and none of the investors were willing to take that bet, right? And I think we met. I don't know. I think we met all investors that you could imagine, and there's a thing called IC that you will know, right? There's called IC stage, right? Where you actually go
Investment committee,
clear
yeah.
everything, go to the final stage, and
Yeah.
maybe then hit rate is like 9 out of 10, right?
Right.
But for us, like, we probably reached out to 3 or 4, all of them rejected, right? So for our, the failure rate is 100 out of 100. That is very unlikely in an IC stage, right?
I think that's the funny part of fundraising, right? It's the only place where people who have not built anything themselves will tell you why your product won't work. So I can totally relate here.
No, I think some of them took a bad saying that, why out of nowhere we can build this and why incumbent. They're not going to appreciate the technological nuances around it and difficulties around it. So I think that happened, and in that journey, I remember, once we reached out to all investors in India, the only pool that was left was strategic and out of India, right? Then we reached out to, the Xiaomi was picking up at that point in time, so we reached out to China, right? And they gave us some offer.
Okay.
We're very happy, got some offer maybe. But what happened is, by the time we took this offer, the India-China, tension got escalated. All the FDA rules around China came in place, and again we were back to square zero, right? Then we got one from a strategic guys, right? So by the time we actually got a term sheet, we thought, we're not happy with the offer, but we thought, let's just be it, right? And by the time the date came again, they actually, went back from their promise, and then I think we're hardly having like 30-40 days of runway hardly, right? And the business was doing well. So from 1.5 crore, we got to 3.5 crore a month. And I still remember that night because, between me and Manoj, we're discussing that, and I know what to talk with Manoj and tomorrow, they're saying that, look, I don't think we know any investor that we have not reached out yet. So that means all options are more or less closed. And now it's time to probably thinking of how do we, either slow down or wind it up, right? So that difficult discussion of, and while the business was doing well, was something that has to happen tomorrow. And that night I didn't sleep, right? And literally it was like tears in my eyes, and we're figuring all these things out. Luckily, next day morning, we saw an article from your story, I think, and it was written that few ex-MD of Sequoia Capital, they left Sequoia and started a new fund called A91, the only fund that we probably not interacted with. And I just wrote a LinkedIn message. That message, I think I will have to, make it a.
I'll take a screenshot of that.
Hi, we're doing this. And he wrote back within 1.5 hours. I never heard anyone replying in 1.5 hours on LinkedIn, but he replied back within a half hour. Then we met them, I think, and then within 15-20 days we got the offer from them. Right? And I think that's
interaction was very smooth. A few meetings and the kind of conviction they were able to build.
Right. I mean, it must be very frustrating for you also that, I want to bring out a certain kind of technology on the business, and of course it's good for him that there are numbers that are validating what you're trying to build. But आपको तो ये लगता होगा ना कि यार हाथ बंधे हुए हैं. I could have done more technology wise.
No, of course, these are the constraints which all companies do face.
So looking back, what do you think? Were the investors not able to align with your vision? What was the gap? Or were they too risk averse कि नहीं यार हार्डवेयर में पैसे ही नहीं डालना है अपने को?
So I think one of the things which we have experienced during that time, maybe a lot of things have changed now. You would be able to convince them on the technology. You will call them to your laboratory, you will show them the product, you will demonstrate, and it was easy to demonstrate the product differentiation also. But thing is, what is next? Right? Because you are going to challenge the incumbents to become big from this stage. So that thing was difficult to convince. You are able to convince product, you are able to convince technology, you are able to say that we can keep differentiating ourselves. But again, this was more a difficult part to convince. And investors also realized that it is more risky affair. Not many examples were there, right? Unfortunately. But yes, now things have changed. There are a lot many hardware companies, and a lot of investors do have convictions. We are also one of the good successful example, and we are proud of that we are able to do that for many other hardware companies. But yes, the time has changed now. But that time, that maybe the timing was different. The environment was different, mindset was different, challenges were very different. And it's not just a product, making a product in lab, scaling it to few thousand in B2B, scaling it to selling it to online. What is next? Majority of the market is offline, right? And then when you are hitting the offline distribution, the kind of competition you will face,
Yeah.
head to head, how you'll deal with that, how much you will spend into marketing, manufacturing. All these are real challenges which we had no answer, right? We had no experience also, no background of that.
And I think investors will have this mental model, right, where they want to find a similar company, and that they can say that you want to become someone like this either in India or in the US or in China, right? And unfortunately, there was none for Atomberg, right? But today, if I go back and I see a lot of investor pitch coming in on our way, and it's mentioned like we want to become something like an Atomberg. Like, so that example was missing back then, and once you do not have that reference point, it becomes even harder for you to convince why you have that X factor to be that example. But yeah, I think all happened good for now, and I think we're able to inspire a few companies, and that feels good.
Right. So that's the thing, right? Startups don't change overnight. Same set of founders, same product, same story, but the narrative completely changes once you get the fundraise. So that's the funny thing about entrepreneurship, that overnight these narratives change and the whole story and the whole picture changes. But how was it? How was the feeling of getting funded from both of you? I mean,
I remember, I think once we got the funding, we were in which hotel is this?
I hope
Trident BKC. I remember once an investor said they want to fund. I bought a cigarette, 20 pack of cigarette from ITC, from Trident, right? And I smoked there and I said, now we have arrived. So that was the feeling. I think that's the smoke that we had. I don't know.
What was the bar's name you were taking?
I think it's a Trident, I know.
No, before that, the first Sunny bar se ab aap Trident tak aa gaye the.
Yeah, I think Sunny is founder, Trident is investor.
Keep a note of that. Great. So yeah. So let's come to the distribution and the product side. So a lot of people say on the internet as well, there's a huge wave of people saying that you have cracked distribution, you've cracked D2C. And when I talk to Manoj specifically, he's more inclined on the technology side. So how do you guys individually define Atomberg? Was it more of a technological play or was it mastering distribution?
See, it is back in 2016. I still remember that we were having a discussion in a small conference room. We were selling during those time B2B. It was 2016. We were able to sell, say, some 4,000-5,000 that year, 2016, in just 4-5 months period of time. So we were confident that the product is the right fit for B2B. People are ready to put money, right? That is a big thing, that you're able to justify a product, that this product is the right fit for this set of people. But beyond that, we wanted to experiment to consumer, right? And maybe in 2015, 2016, it was a good time for putting your product in marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart. So that was our first time experience. We listed our product on e-com. Consumers started buying the product. We assumed that people are buying our product for energy efficiency. That was our assumption, right, for a few months. And we wanted to understand why they are buying it, right? And we knew that we really need to understand how, what our consumers' aspirations are, right? Because this technology is very new. And if we really want to make it big, we want to understand what consumers' aspirations are, and we need to tweak it continuously. And that would give us a direction to evolve the product, right? So that signals started coming from consumer first time, and we learned that people are buying our product for remote control. Remote was the first feature we gave from day one.
So your theory was right.
Yeah. So it was a native feature of the BLDC because electronics was already there. And again, it was also something we discussed a long time back, that let's be kind of smart.
That's one.
Right? So it was there. So we got the fact that people are buying only for remote control. And there was a small LED. It was an indication LED that if you are pressing button on the remote, you want to know whether the fan has accepted the signal or not.
Yeah.
So it was acknowledged signal, which is a mandatory. So that was fascinating in a product like fan. So we got this understanding that consumer is looking for a smart products, an efficient product. Efficiency was a wish list, definitely, but a smart product. Now defining what is a smart was the next challenge, where we wanted to collect more data points from consumer and experiment more with them, right? So finally, after some learning, that the definition of a smartness is actually look minimalistic, integrated with a smartness. A smartness is like you should get a sense of smartness when you're looking from the product, because aesthetic aspiration has been there in this fan from day one, right? There have been a decorative fan, people are doing experiment on design, color, etc. But what about the smartness? So a smart product should look smart. And you see this differentiation very similar, like gasoline vehicle versus the EV.
Yeah.
EV look smart. They're integrated with LEDs, lights, more infotainment. So that was something we were able to identify back in, that this is a journey which could be in fan. So with that thought process, we evolved the technology from Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Gen 3 was a product, we call it Renaissance. It is a small compact motor which we introduced in 2018. Right? So this was first a small motor fan in the industry, and nobody has seen this kind of polarizing design in past. A fan which is super compact, half the size in terms of diameter, then integrated with 6 LEDs, better interface, remote control. So that thing worked out really well, actually. We got very good response from the consumer. So that created our thesis more stronger around what is our definition of smartness. We were able to define the definition of smartness for consumers, right? And as we knew more and more about consumers' aspiration, we started working on breaking that problem statement down into simpler pieces around engineering, how we can meet this smartness, thing to them. So minimalistic form factor. So motors, we exploited BLDC motor, that motors are energy efficient. They can be made more compact, which were not possible with the traditional motors. Right? So now you will see that from 2016 till date, we have been continuously evolving our motors to reduce their form factor, to enable them to get integrated with more and more electronics and smartness. Then IoT came in 2019. 30% of our fan today are smart, which are app enabled, and then underlight LED integration. Slowly we understand that ultimately functional experience is also important. Noise should be lesser. So we introduced these aerodynamically designed airfoil blades in 2021. So continuously, that was a journey of evolution to meet consumers' desire and aspiration, right? But understanding the consumer aspiration desire was the most important thing, right? So I think e-com helped us to get connected with them first, and do the right data collection, and then breaking it down into a simpler engineering problem statement, which our engineers can understand. If we ask our engineer that you make a smart fan, which consumer will like, no engineer will be able to. So it is always a joint work. Maybe the marketing team, sales team, they are also collecting right data, and the team was super integrated during early days, and still it is. That our team has been working very closely with each other. The design team, marketing team, sales team, manufacturing team, under same umbrella, same roof. So this brainstorming was very much effective during those days, and maybe these things shaped our product journey and a right product fit exercise. I think we are successful that way. Then again, the challenges which we faced around sales marketing were different, which I think Shubham will share.
भाई इतना भी इजी तो नहीं हुआ होगा जितना इजीली इन्होंने बताया. कहीं तो मतलब टेक्नोलॉजी लेवल पे कभी तो there would have been issues with the product, and then
so one of the things, very funny thing I tell you. See, when we introduced a compact motor in 2016, we reached out to distributors, right? So again, marketing team and sales team, Shivam was leading that. They reached out to some of the distributors whom we knew, and they said that, sir, this is the fan. See, it is a prototype again. This is the motor we want to introduce. You think it will sell? They will tell, don't make it. Who buys a small motor, right? But again, the consumer was looking for, and not every consumer like a small motor, but there was a good set of consumers who were looking for minimalistic design. In fact, you will find a Renaissance fan in most of the cafes also. A lot of cafes, home interior designers who are looking for minimalistic design. So these were some of the challenges where we have taken a challenge. Let's experiment it out, right? Where we have went against what we got from the market distribution people. Right. Then B2B journey, initial days the failures were huge because the technology was new. When we introduced it to some of the people, we understood the kind of challenges happens in the grid around electronics failure. Electronics was a new family member, so we have to ensure that the product is mature before we hit consumer. So that was a journey of 1 year, tough journey, where our engineers were deployed on the remote site in the factory. And we intentionally identified some of the industries like sanitary ware industry who were using our fan to drying process. Some of the cold storage industry who were using our fan. So these were extreme abuses of the product actually. And fans were failing for multiple reasons: industry environment, power fluctuations, and the moisture in the cold chambers. Our engineers were fixing those things, and they were solving for it. So that 1 year journey on the field and fine tuning our product helped us in making it more reliable, because I would say feature was one part, technology was one part, but if it is not reliable, it won't work.
Right.
And I just want to probably just summarize like in 1 or 2 sentences, right? So I'll just say that if you ask me, like, is it product or is it digital marketing? I will say it is probably the product and consumer love comes first, right? So, so it's clearly the product and consumer love. What we have done well is basically, once we understood that consumers are loving the product, we then brilliantly scaled distribution and rightfully, let's say, the brand activities. And hence, let's say, we also went back and solved for manufacturing with solve for cost and reliability with manufacturing in house and everything. But it is the consumer love of the product. If the product is not being loved by consumer, even today with all the distribution muscle and the brand muscle, if you launch a new category and if consumer doesn't like the product, does not matter how large, how big, how loved we are as a brand, we will not see success. And we have seen this. We have seen this in our second or third categories, right? So it has to solve a consumer problem. The product has to be loved by the consumer. There is no other way in this category.
See, that is a prerequisite. And back in 2017-18, we were super confident that product is real, consumer is loving it, and the other things, sales, distribution, marketing, manufacturing nuances also. We knew that we can solve it. But first thing is first. If this is not solved, solving for manufacturing, solving for distribution doesn't make sense. But that conviction from the consumer, acceptance on this technology was so strong to us that we were super motivated. And we went out of the box to solve all those things from first principle. Although we have not copied the methods of distribution, methods of marketing, methods of manufacturing, we developed our own ways of doing it. But those were solvable problems. The first thing was this, that you need to crack the product and validate it in consumers' perspective.
So technology basically got your foot into the door, and then
I will say product. Technology is again is a enabler of the product, right? So it's consumer love in the product. I mean, it's a very fine line between technology, fine line between manufacturing, distribution, everything. I will just still focus on this keyword called product and consumer love, and not on technology, not anything else.
If it was our generation 1 motor, which was still a BLDC motor, energy efficient motor, if we keep selling generation 1 motor, we won't have, be successful in consumer domain, for sure.
So let me rephrase it. Product got you a foot into the door, and then distribution did the magic at scale.
Yes.
Right. Fair enough.
To scale.
So let's talk more about the Indian startup ecosystem, because you have spent almost 1.5 to 2 decades now in this ecosystem. So what are the things that are being underestimated at a global level when it comes to the Indian startup ecosystem? And I think I would like to start with you, Shibam, on this one, and then we'll move on to Manoj, because you have seen the sales and marketing side of it. He's more of the technologist here.
Okay. Underestimated.
Yes.
What does that mean by that?
I mean, so we always say that, we are being compared to China, we are being compared to South Korea, Vietnam, कि वहाँ ये हो रहा है, यहाँ ये हो रहा है, हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, IT services के ऊपर ही हमारा country चल रहा है. These kind of jargons you keep listening. But you have seen it from the inside. You have seen manufacturing firsthand. I would rather say you have been a part of that journey. I was speaking to Ashank Desai sir, who was part of the IT software, revolution in India. And I could say something similar for you in terms of manufacturing. So give me those insights which would...
I think, once, and I can only tell you from the interaction that I had with investors who probably either doesn't have or have a very deep understanding of, let's say, the Indian market, right? They sometimes miss a lot of nuances around India. For example, as simple as the kind of how different Indian markets are. I mean, Bombay, Kerala, Delhi, tier 2, tier 3, all behaves differently. So there are so many segments. You can sell anything and everything in India, right? You have to identify the right segments, the right markets, and etc. So it's very fragmented. And people sometimes underestimate the nuances of it. And probably sometimes also don't understand how to leverage this kind of opportunity. When the other thing that I have seen a lot of time, people don't understand the lot of India first thing. Right? For example, ceiling fan is also very India first product, right? Mixer kind of India first product, or just a geography specific product. So there are again a lot of things which are very India specific, India first, and sometimes it's difficult to estimate that way. The other thing that I will say is that a lot of time investors think of India as it is today, right? And but the fact is, every 5, 6, 10 years, the characteristics of the Indian market, the size of the Indian market, that changes, right? So as an investor, you have to think about in decades, right? So for example, back in 2018, if you would have asked any investor that whether manufacturing in India is an opportunity back in 2018, the answer would have been clearly no, right? 2017, 2016, the answer would have a loud and clear no. And that is because at that point in time there was not many ecosystem partners, etc. But just fast forward 6 years today, if you ask the same investor that will you invest into Indian manufacturing, I think the answer will be a loud yes now, right? Because there's an opportunity that is now quite visible. It's just a matter of 5, 6 years, not even 10 years. Right? Today, for example, deep tech. Deep tech, someone will say no, someone will say yes. But if you ask, I can probably like bet on this that if you ask anyone 5 years from now, they will say deep tech is a very big opportunity in India. That probably it is still, for some it is, they will say there's not enough depth and all, right? So I think India changes every 5, 7, 8 years, and the fact is opportunity is large. The fact is talent pool is large. All it needs is the right amount of patience capital. There is no dearth of talent at all, right? I mean, we, for example, are doing a lot of manufacturing, which is probably not only best in India, but probably the best in global, right? So I think Indian has that ability to deliver this, provided they get the right resources, the right material, the right conditions, and the right patients, right? So yeah, I think what probably they don't underestimate or overestimate is probably the same, right? So nuances around India, nuances around the diversity, nuances around India first opportunities, nuances around that every 5 years market will change, and some of these I think people, though even if they see on paper, but they're not able to realize the impact of it, right?
And what's your view, Manoj? I mean, is there enough technology being built in India? Is there enough innovation in India?
No, of course, there are many people like whom I'm interacting and also personally funding some of the startups, right? So it is happening, right? But one thing which I see missing, maybe from the investor and the deep tech companies, is that survival is important, right? Today, the idea might look small. It could be a manufacturing component idea. It could be AI idea. It could be maybe something deep tech into biomedical, etc. It might look small, but we need to visualize what would be a long-term impact of this journey if a startup is able to survive, right? So survival is the most important thing, right? If we also did the same thing, we just survived for initial 4, 5 years. Right? Although it looks small, but 4, 5 years was actually huge time for to survive, right? So today, if investors and the founders have this mindset that we need to survive today, right? Because as Shivam is saying, things are changing, and India is a huge market full of opportunities. Some things are not visible today, but those things will be unlocked in future. So if you are still alive, able to survive that long, and having some foundation, could be anything, could be maybe in the space of manufacturing, for example, right? You can start small, just survive. You will figure out much more scalable things in future. So this mindset is important, and if those things are not unlocking in India, then they will not unlock anywhere in the world, right? So this is another thing which we need to understand, that the market will open. Market is opening up, new opportunities are opening up. Consumer journey and the consumption story is real. Make in India localizing supply chain is real, right? Consumers' aspirations are going up, their lifestyles are going up. They will need more products, more services. All these things are real, right? And India itself is a huge market with a huge population, huge need of products and services. So all I would advise is that patient capital is required, and founder must have this mindset that we have to survive. Today's idea might not be look that big,
Yeah.
but tomorrow you can add more layer to it and make it big.
Absolutely. So in India, a recent report kind of categorized the different customer base of India into India 1, which is having a GDP similar to the US, India 2, which is similar to Mexico, and India 3, which is similar or subpar to Africa. And unfortunately, the larger chunk of the population is in India 3, right? So you have tackled all parts of this India 1, 2, and 3. And how did customer aspirations change? And what were some insights that you thought, okay, this is the way a customer or a consumer might think, but then some anecdotes or some particular insights on the customer side that surprised you in terms of different categories of customers?
Yeah. So it's an opportunity actually. I would say we need to look like that. The third world we are saying is huge. So that is actually the larger opportunity, for companies, because that world is aspirational. Everyone in India is aspirational, right? And this is also we have experience from our journey that we were assuming that customer is cost sensitive, but whenever we delivered value, a better value, better feature, of course it has to be affordable. People have embraced that product and that feature. Even in tier 3 cities, rural areas, people are buying our premium products. So those are some of the signals that aspirations are real. And in fan, we have seen in the last 15 years that premiumization has happened, right? The average cost of fan has gone up, and consumer is looking for smartness, energy efficiency, better aesthetics, better functionality. Those were the things which were very new when we started our journey, right? And we were debating that whether this much feature will make sense or not. But today, those are the main stream discussions when we are working on a new roadmap. Like these are the future which are must to keep getting more market share. Then similar thing we see in the other categories. Today, air conditioner might be a single digit penetration today, maybe say 7-8% penetration. In China, this penetration level is 60%. In US, it might be 90%, right? Now, India, this penetration level is going, this is one of the fastest growing industry. Penetration level going to go up. Say it is reaching 20-30% in near future, which means that the premiumization will start kicking in, because a lot of consumer would be second time buyer.
Yeah.
First time you are only looking for that I'm getting a cooling experience, I'm happy. Next time you're buying, you're looking for more. You're looking for aesthetics, you're looking for smartness, you're looking for lesser noise, better experience, more connected devices. So when all these things are going to happen in 5-10 years in category like fan, so or AC, there are many other categories and many other areas where same thing is going to happen in parallel. So I see these are wonderful opportunities, and yes, aspiration is real, and we strongly believe that all human beings deserve better lifestyle. Everybody is upgrading the lifestyles, right?
Yeah.
So more services, more better product, more technology is going to be required, much more than before.
So I think, barring extreme top and extreme bottom, right? India in general is probably a value conscious market, right? So what changed in the stratas of, let's say, India 1, India 2 is which all parameters and I mean who values which parameters, right? So India 1 can value certain parameters more than certain parameters of, let's say, India 3 and India 2, right? But in general, if I'll just remove the very decimal percentile of top and the bottom, it's largely the value conscious market that is stream across things. Now, only thing that you need to do is figure out what is the right value for that segment, and then the opportunity is large, right? And we have seen, if I take examples, for example, Meesho is a great example, but they built a massive business probably by focusing on India 3 and a little bit of India 2, right? We have seen again a very different example, let's say India 3 kind of profile buying iPhone on EMIs. We have seen many examples of that, right? We have seen examples like Technosport, which is a massive apparel industry business, again India 3, India 2
Yeah.
maybe, right? In our case also we have seen, for example, we have buyers like, who probably has a 5 crore, 10 crore worth of house, and we have seen in extreme east, in extreme villages, they are still buying Atomberg fan, and when we deep dive, we figured out that they are not buying our fan because we are energy efficient or remote controlled or designed, but they are buying it because they have a voltage fluctuation issue. They have an electricity issue in their house, and our product runs throughout the voltage fluctuation. It runs at the same voltage, right? It delivers the same performance, even if there's voltage fluctuations. And of course, it runs 3 times on inverter, as Manoj explained, right? So those values were more attracted for a certain segment of consumer in certain geography versus, let's say, designs and remote for certain other segments of consumer in certain other geographies, right? So I think its opportunity is large and across segments. The cost dynamics change, the price dynamics change, but if you can figure out the right value of that your category for that segment, I think you have a huge market to win.
But having said that, selling a BLDC fan at twice the price of a standard fan, that must have been difficult, right? So are there some interesting insights that you have on this in terms of your customer experience?
I'll give you good examples, right? And so, and that will probably just add to what I was just saying initially about the value consciousness of the market, right? And not the cost consciousness of the market. When we launched the first BLDC ceiling fan, which Manoj was saying, GV1 based product, right? That was, I think we priced it around 2,800 back in 2016, right? And at that time, an average looking fan would have been available at 1,400, 1,500 rupees. Then we came out with the GV3 model or GV3 model, right? That is like very compact looking, aesthetically distinctive, pleasing, goes well with the minimalism as a design language. And that cost for us was actually lower than the GV2 model.
Okay.
But while pricing it, we priced it maybe 700 rupees more, somewhere around 3,500 rupees, right? And at that price point, the market at that point in time was probably not even 3-4%. And we saw a huge amount of acceptance. I mean, that model at that price point became like a 500 crore plus model, a single model over a period of time, right? And that probably again proves it that if consumers are willing to see value, now in that the value could have been aesthetics, the designs, and anything else on top of whatever we are offering in the previous model, they will shift, they will jump the price, right? So yeah, I think price and cost sensitivity is there, but if you can communicate in a real way the value, and if consumers are able to see and feel it, they will price up.
Yeah, and technology has no value if it is not packed properly, delivered properly, communicated properly.
Yeah. So it would be fair to say that the Indian consumer is a value conscious buyer.
Absolutely.
And especially if you explain the value and explain the story behind it, right? So
Yes,
that would make more sense.
Absolutely. And I mean, everyone have a little bit of budget flexibility, right? Of course, a 2,000 rupees buyer of fan will not go to, let's say, 10,000 rupees buying fan. But he will move up like 10, 15%, 20% of his. So you'll have to be in that zone, but not necessarily exactly always competing on cost.
So coming back to building in hardware, what's the most underestimated pain point when building a hardware startup that you all have encountered? And I'm sure there are many stories that you can share here.
See, for hardware, one thing is the most important thing for any founder, or I would advise is that it is going to be a long journey. Making a product in lab is only a very initial beginning of, or I would say only 30% effort. Most of the effort will go in proofing that product's reliability on the field if it is a consumer product. So a lot of effort will go in fine-tuning the product. For example, we introduced the product in 2015, but it took us almost 1 year time to make it more reliable and a consumer fit. Before that, we cannot scale. So that was part 2. Part 3 is how do you scale? You don't have manufacturing muscle, right? And we reached out to the vendor ecosystem of existing fan technology.
Okay.
Right? And we learned that know-how and the vendor base is of no use to us. They can only offer us the blades and the sheet metal because the technology, underlying technology is very different. The processes are different. So we ended up building those manufacturing processes from scratch. So that was the immediate challenge which we saw back in 2016 when we were scaling to just few thousand, right? So making 100 fan is one, but making few thousand, so it is few thousand is also nothing to us. Today, every day we are producing more than 15, 20,000. So that was part 3, how you are going to fix those manufacturing challenges, right? Then maybe these are the things which will be challenge to you at different phases of your
company's growth,
life,
yeah.
right? Right, lab to proofing it to on the field, consumer acceptance and fine tuning of the product, and then scaling it, making few thousand and making few lakh. Today the number is used, but yes, at different stages we face different challenges. So you need to be ready, right? And you don't need to solve these problems on day one as they are coming, but you should be aware that manufacturing challenges are also going to be real one day. Yeah.
Mistakes in hardware are often detrimental or even suicidal in terms of a hardware startup. कभी ऐसा हुआ कि इतना बड़ा mistake हो गया कि you thought अब तो यहाँ से there is no way forward?
Yeah, no, I think, managing supply and demand in a hardware startup is a like very big challenge, and in the early days the challenges are even much more than what probably is at a later scale. And in the early days, if you have decided to do in-house manufacturing, then the probably challenges are multifold, right? And I think I remember, I mean, there were many cases, but let's say if I want to take examples, maybe the first 1 crore that we received, from the Aarti Industries, we invested, I think, 65-70 rupees on the tools and the setup of everything, right? And then we figured out that the tool was wrong. I think we built a tool for remote, if I remember, right? Which I could have go back, and so I think we made this investment, but luckily we got. I remember, I think after that, I think 2016. So we did all of that stuff, invested money, and all of a sudden the capital was gone, and we have now nothing left to pay salary for, right? And then we probably made 1,000 fans and shipped to one client, right? 300 fans, 400 fans, and then we also figured out that the clients will not give you in advance money, because we thought it will give you in advance, it did not happen. So we literally had to go to the client place and beg for money, because there's no way to pay the salary back.
Right.
And when I went there, the first thing that he showed me, he just opened up his jacket and showed that he took a bullet yesterday. I took a bullet, don't come to me for money. But yeah, I think, so I think that, but lucky enough, we got some capital from that guy also, and eventually got some capital from the investors and managed it. But it's a very difficult expenses.
Right. And some of the failures, these were the early days learning to us. Before getting into fan, we were doing this vehicle monitoring service. And we installed a few 50 units in the trucks to one of the company. And the drivers were throwing the device because they knew that they were being monitored, right? And in some cases, the device was not working, right? So the challenge given to us, the engineers, was to find that truck driver and the truck where it is. It can be anywhere in India. Right? It can be anywhere in India. You have to go there, find it, fix it, program it, right? Connect it with again GPRS and make it live again. So these were the hard learnings to our engineering team also. So being reliable was also part of our DNA. Then another challenges we faced from the fan B2B. In factories, when fan was failing, because people were literally abusing those products in sanitary factories and the cold storage factories. So we have to go there, fix those fans. And again, the team was not big. It was just engineers and the sales marketing, the very small internal team. So we have burned our fingers. And that thing taught us a lot. Today, our development cycles are, say, 12 months roughly. 3 months is only for user trial and field trial and validate that. So those processes have gone mature because of our past learnings.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember one story, I think Manju remember this also. That's when we launched fan for the first time, right? So it took us probably the whole day and night to produce probably 15-20 fans, 30 fans for the client. Now all that happened, and then after fast forward 7-8 months from there, the first day of production, right? We're still doing 1,200 fans a month, right? So it's like give or take 30-40 days, 50 days a day that at max, right? So it's still same what we used to have on day one. And every time we used to plan 3,000 fans will make, and the 3,000 was a magic number. I remember we used to every time we used to plan, and every time we used to end up with 1,000, 200, 1,500 fans. And then we had this fan master from Hyderabad, Bappan, I think his name, Bappan was right there. So he has this good mustache and all, right? So he was there. And then we hired one guy, Anku, who joined as a core team member, heading operation. He came from Daimler, Mercedes.
Okay.
So he came to the plant, and the next month he took a target कि हम 3,000 बनाएंगे. And Bappan was like, अगर आपने 3,000 बना लिया, तो मैं मेरा मुच्छा अदा कर लूँगा. And I think he was right. We couldn't make 3,000 that month also, right? so that's how difficult it is to the initial days. Right? So supply demand management is very big.
That's what they say, right? Software foundership works to their clients, and hardware founders basically ship mistakes to their clients, which stay at their home for years and years together. So that's a difficult space to navigate.
It is a huge disaster. Like if we ship a wrong product, you will lose your credibility in the trade. You have to pull back thousands of fan back, right? And these things could kill the company actually at a scale, right? So learning all these things early stage is definitely helped us, that we are able to have the right processes in place to ensure that the right stage gate is happening, right checks are happening before we are scaling any product today.
So let's get to some very personal, questions here. So it's been a 1.5 decade journey for both of you, and I would like very candid answers from both of you on this. What has this journey cost you both personally?
Hair.
And how would you define this
A lot
journey?
of hair, I think both of.
We can start with any one of you.
No, I think. Of course, I mean, if I go back to like the early days of 2015, 16, 17, right? I think what it cost us is basically, you have an expected life. Like you graduate from college, you have some money to spare, right? You go for travels, tour. I don't think we've gone beyond Bombay to take any vacation for the first 3-4 years of our life after graduation. I don't remember going to any pub at our expenses. The friends, of course, have spent on our behalf. So I think it cost you a lot of personal things. We didn't get enough time to even continue the friendship with some of our early wingmates or friends at the in college. You don't get time for all the luxuries that one could imagine. So I think all of that built a lot of stress to your life. I don't think none of us also had any girlfriend yet at that point in time. So I don't think we had anything at a personal level apart from thinking about how to do what to do and of course each other, and a bit of a football game. I think that's it. And the food I think was very 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 defined. It was like dal khichdi every night and dahi of that too from canteen. I think that was it for initial 3-4 years. So yeah, I think I don't know how to put it as what costs us, but I think definitely gave us some learning probably. But yeah, I think now that it has worked well, I think I don't even remember how tough it was. I think it was all good if I go back and think about this. But living that time was difficult at that point.
Founders don't burn out because of work. I think it's more because of the fact that you feel that nothing is enough. I can do more. I can do any more on this. I can probably.
I think confusions. Early days, a lot of confusions, right? Should we do this? Should we do that? Ye nahi chal raha, wo nahi chal raha. If things gets one direction, it gets one direction. But the direction is clear. You get so many confusions, so many opinions, so many views. That I think is difficult.
Did you feel like quitting at any point of time?
I did also, I think. Right? So I think at some point in time I was thinking to play poker professionally. I did this for 2.5-3 months. Right. So yeah, I think that happens, right? I mean, towards the end of life, towards the end of multiple ideas, I think Manu was slightly more stable than me. But yeah, I think once it doesn't happen 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, right? So you start questioning yourself that are you really serious about it, or you are just postponing the problem by one more year, and just trying to live in an illusion. So some of this confusion, some of this self-doubt, these are real questions. You have to keep answering this question. And the fact is, there is no one else who can who can understand
Understand,
this, right?
yeah.
I mean, your co-founders can understand, but the problem with co-founder is that both of us have seen this together, right? Now, if we give each other enough let's say consolation, then we'll figure out that अब वो अब लास्ट टाइम भी अब सेम बोले थे इस बार भी नहीं हुआ तो एक दो बार चलते बट बार बार नहीं चलेगा right? So that is I think is a problem. So that is I think is a very lonely journey, lonely questions and figure out to there's no way to I don't know how do you solve it, but it just got solved.
What's your perspective? And was he the more annoying of the two?
Yeah.
I
Because I remember during football days, he used to do some cheating together.
that was See, I think winning is important. Doesn't matter how you win.
How you win it.
Yeah, winning is important.
What's your perspective about the journey, Manoj?
I think one of the things which was good to us and maybe helped maneuver this journey was that our lifestyle was very simple. Coming from a very humble background.
I think option भी नहीं था.
Option भी नहीं था. And see, if you got a very good high lifestyle, right, then it is very difficult for many people to scale it down. For example, going to a chawl, right? Chawl was also luxury to us during those days. So we embraced everything, came up as an opportunity to chawl, then to office, and then opportunity to interact with lots of people in our journey, right? So being a simple lifestyle helped. Then, of course, the 4 to 5 year journey was long, and there were many incidents when we during the pivots from one idea to another, right? And even when the initial co-founder left, right? And then some ideas failed. There were many instances when you will feel that you're alone. Are you on the right track, right? And then you also see that your colleagues who were your batchmates, they're at least earning well, right? Setting up their life, having better lifestyle, right? And we have to ask money to even go for a party.
So I remember I think we had like this like a set of 7-8 friends, and every month if there was no business, the idea was to shortlist 2-3 out of 7. And then you call him for some money. So all of them give some money. Then you park them for next 3-4 months. Again go after 4 months. The cycle was going on for
You were a real fundraiser guy. Understood. Did success justify the sacrifice? Quite honestly.
So I would. So when I look back, I don't see that it was a sacrifice, right? If I was not doing this journey, maybe I would not be that content and happy. At least I personally continued what I was passionate about. Tough time came when there was no guide, no advice, and you are lonely, and maybe people around you might be judging that what you're doing, right? So, but I think filtering those noises, something helped me. I was personally very much okay. ठीक है, देखेंगे क्या होता है, right? Something will work out one day, and then those long-term hopes kept, and maybe personally I have been during those days was also a little active in the running sports. So those things generally help. So that would be another advice to people who are running the company the initial days. You should engage yourself in some physical sports activity, some cultural, social activity is really important. That you are alone in your work life, but you should have something which is resetting you. Resetting you every day.
I would say that every successful founder story is being celebrated, but there's a lot of invisible cost for which nobody claps, right? And I think it's very evident in your story as well. So it's a tough journey. So looking back at this taxing journey, Shibam, I know you were the one who used to get irritated a little faster than Manoj. So, I mean, would you do this journey again? If given a choice?
It's not irritation, it's I think restlessness.
Would you do this journey again? And if so, then how differently would you do it?
Journey, yes, of course I will do it. I think absolutely no doubt on that. What will I do differently? I think if I want to start it again and I have one decision to make, which is, let's say, having a very super differentiated product in a niche market versus we incremented the differentiated product of services in a large market. Back in 2016, probably I would have chosen the option A, and today probably I would choose option B. So I'll probably give market a lot more weightage than differentiation. That's the only thing that I'll do differently. But
Would you want to justify that? I mean, is it the easier path, and why?
no, I think if you want to become large, right, market has to be large. There is no other way, right? And what I've seen is that and I'll give an example. Let's, for example, in our journey in Atomberg also, right, after fans and kitchen appliances, we launched a thing called Smart Lock. The product was good, differentiated, etc. But the market was not large. So we couldn't even scale that despite us having such a big brand, distribution, and everything today. But if you look at fan, for example, having nothing back in 2016, we managed to do 1,000 crore plus business because of the market size is so large, right? So I think having a large market is very, very important. And in large market, if you solve a problem for a certain segment of the consumer, you still end up doing a lot more than solving for everyone in a smaller market. So I think I'll still give a lot more weight to the product market. And I have seen many examples in, let's say, for example, in medical, I was just talking to, in medtech, in fact, I was talking with one of the IIT Bombay alum, a few, so there I think, I was working with one element and he's still doing like 10 crore a year. And I think he started like 3 years before us, right? And he was saying that, I don't want to do any non-differentiated stuff, even if the market is small, right? So I don't think I will pursue that journey or that path today if I do go back and do something bigger.
Weren't you afraid of the competition? I mean, it's a huge industry with a lot of incumbents who have a lot of muscle in terms of money, influence. So what's your view on that?
The competition, in 2016, it was first time we had this discussion that we can become a brand. And there was a conviction behind it, and that conviction was really, really strong at that point in time, because and by the way, we reached out to most of the incumbent. The idea was not to create a brand. The idea was to sell the technology, right? And we knew that, and we learned that people are not excited about the technology. In fact, most of them are actually not a motor company. They have been building product on technology which is existing for last 100 years. Right? So that technology is already evolved in last 40, 50 years already. So nothing left. So they ended up not doing any engineering around the motors. We were able to discover this new tech, and we had built this confidence and conviction that this can become big because it is solving real problems of consumer, and consumer is eventually loving the product. So that time we had this very wild discussion that can we become a brand, and our discussion we concluded that if we cannot become a brand, it will be a huge failure. We should now become a brand. And why? Because consumer deserve better products, right? And we are able to do better technology, right? And we had this, this fear that competition has deep pockets. They can put in money. But we had this maturity and understanding by then that tech DNA is real. The vision building is real. Building right talent and team is real. Attracting those guys who are passionate equally like you, who are also part of the mission that let's build something great for people. Let's improve the lifestyle of people. You need to attract that kind of talent. So you need to create that kind of culture and ecosystem, which we have. Although we were very small company at that time, just a startup, right? But we knew that we had that. We can attract that kind of talent, and we were doing it. The people who joined us back in 2015, 2016, they are still with us today, leading the major roles at Atomberg, right? So the team confidence, bet on the vision, and having this mission statement that we are solving for consumer, we are improving their lifestyle, and we are committed to this thought process. This thing has a huge weightage, more than money. Today you can have money, right? But how you will build that culture? Putting money on the table is not helping you building the culture. Helping you attract the right talent who will put their 10 years of their life. They need a mission, right? And a right vision and ambition. If it is missing, then most of the good talent will not join you. They will work maybe 1 year, 2 years, but they will not commit, their life for their important precious 5 to 10 years. So that thing was there. And again, you have money, but if you don't have vision, where you will put the money? Right, where you will put the money. You should have a proper understanding in what areas I need to put my capital, what kind of capabilities I need to build to ensure that I'm successful 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So those things I think were very much clear to us, at least at that early stage. So we were ready to compete, but justifying this logic to investors and the other stakeholders were very difficult, because it was feeling and conviction, difficult to articulate. Everybody was asking this question, that competition has deep pocket, how you're going to compete. But I think whatever we visualize, I think it is a reality in the last 10 years.
Absolutely. Cannot debate on that. So building on that, what motivates both of you now? Is it the money? Is it the impact? Or is it just the knack of winning again and again?
See, to me personally, nothing has changed, to be frank, during this 15-year journey almost. The intent was always to create value to larger audience, to a larger mass. And there have been two elements in my personal motivation always, right? One is Indians deserve better lifestyle. Let's solve for it with technology. And being a technocrat, if I'm not doing it, or people like me not doing it, it is not fair. Right? So this one thing gives you a sense of responsibility to keep moving and keep pushing. And whenever you hit any success, you feel very good. It's like feeling success, right? Every time you are coming up with something new, better technology or product, and being inspired or being appreciated by consumer. So that feeling is real, and keep doing it is a fun. It's like feeling success again and again and again. The second part, which is another element of motivation and mission, is making India self-reliant. Right. So today we are expanding or extending our technical capabilities around motors, controllers, to build components for other industries. That is our B2B vertical, which we are building now. So again, living same movement again, building these capabilities for India. So I think solving for Indian audience to improve their lifestyle and building good core technologies to make India self-reliant, these are the fundamental things which keep me personally motivated. So there is no end. I can keep doing it till my last breath.
Yeah, I think slightly similar, but yeah, I think few things that changed in the last 9-10 years is that, so one, we became a lot more wealthier than who we were.
How did the first few crores feel like?
I think first people feel like very good, right? Even you have a lot of, you were raising 1 crore for the company, then you have 1 crore in your personal account in a matter of a year or two. We got the first house, but after that, it just I remember, the first time I got the 1 crore credit person, I saw that message 3-4 times, and then when I got this credit letter, also more than 10 crore a few months back, I did not even bother to see it 2 times, right? So that's how the value of money get depreciated over a period of time once you have enough of that. So I think financially both of us are well off now, and I don't think we'll have to work again for money ever. So I don't think money can be the only factor of motivation. It can be a matter of relevance and ego and all that stuff, but not for the matter of motivating factor. So I think that one thing changed, right? And philosophically, every person, individual, over a period of time, they develop their own philosophies based on his context and his understanding of life and a lot of experience that he or she goes through. And I think over a period of time, I have convinced myself or have developed this philosophy saying that, one has to, you can say that give back to society, or you can say that create an impact, whatever to call it, to the best of his or her abilities. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think that is a never-ending journey, right? And what has changed between last 10 years is that between now and the last 10 years back is that financially have become more well off, and second is our ability have gone up. Now we have a lot better network. We can reach out to many people if we have good ideas to reach out. We can raise capital just like that, right? So I think now our ability to create impact is also much bigger. And I think if you think from our perspective, we always had this dream of saying that we want to build this global engineering company out of India, or we want to create this really hard problems from India. Right? So if we imagine that, can 10 years from now there can be 1 or 2 very hard problems that Indians can solve? The answer is yes, right? And are we in a position to be one of those individuals who can create those impact, in some field or other? I think that answer is yes too, right? And that is probably one thing that will keep you, stay up still today in the night and going one more day, pushing for one more day. I think that's what it's all about. And yeah, I think that's I think it's wise to not define a goal in a very objectified manner. The moment you define a goal in a very objectified manner, you reach it and you figure out, you were lost. I think what Mano said is you can do it perpetually. So I think perpetuality, again, is a philosophy very important, and you'll have to have this to. So just keep defining a very bigger way goal and just keep trying to achieve it forever.
Yeah. I think money after a point of time becomes just a number at the scoreboard, right?
Money doesn't have any intrinsic value, right? So that's just an,
yeah.
just an
And I would be congruent to your thought process here that the best version of life is basically a version where you are using whatever faculties you have been given to the highest form. And it's a disservice to God or the Almighty if you are, not realizing your true form in this lifetime. I would kind of agree to that.
I mean, for some reason or other, you have got this opportunity, right? I mean,
yeah.
And there are a lot of serendipity in the journey, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, if we would not have met in that day on Sunny, maybe we would have a very different life, right? So you'll have to give some credit to luck, give some credit to society now, and if society and luck has made you this able, so you'll have to give back to them also. So that's I think how I think, and let's see.
So what's your view on Atomberg becoming one of India's most defining companies? Let's say an LG or a Samsung out of India. What's your view on that?
I don't know about LG or Samsung. I think we'll become probably Atomberg of the world and not an LG Samsung of Korea or US. I think that's what my view is. I don't know.
The challenges we have faced, the journey is very unique. The kind of problems we are solving very unique. And the way we are solving is the Atomberg way. So it has to be Atomberg from India. Right? So I think we are very bullish.
I think the fun is when someone says that, in US saying that, can I become Atomberg of some developing country, some developed country, whatever it is. So that's what the fun is.
Right.
Let's see when we achieve it.
Right.
See, and then that's the opportunity to do something different, right? Because the challenges with those companies faced were different. Our challenges have been different. The life is different, and we need to celebrate those challenges and the way we implemented and we built Atomberg, right? So that is more relevant in this context.
Understood. Just to finish this off, how optimistic are you about the Indian hardware story in general? And I would like you to convince some of our new or young viewers that there is juice in this story, and they should build in India.
So see, one thing is real that lots of people and the entrepreneurs are starting hardware, deep tech companies, trying to solve tougher problems. They might not be able to relate the long-term impact, or might be difficult to size the opportunity for them today. But they can keep this thing in mind that as Indian aspirations are already in place, by the way, but when affordability comes to to India 2 or India 3, we are calling, these hardware companies will nourish, right? Because it is very fundamental thing that India going to need lots of hardware, lots of services to serve consumers, right? And when consumers' aspirations are not dying, then you can be super bullish that you are going to build hardware and services of future. There is a need, but how the journey will take shape is something little uncertain, and that might make few people little difficult to visualize. But I think these are some of the aspirations which hardware companies should have to be motivated.
No, I think and the opportunity is real, and if you look at from the amount of hardware that we import from outside India, and just look at the maths and the number, right? It's humongous, right? And in today's geopolitical era, where every now and then there is a war going on, the only way you can survive is to have as much independence as possible, right? Now, there, of course, one is energy, and the other is everything else, and there's a large part of everything else is hardware, be it semiconductor, be it simple things like an appliances, be it simple things like an it could be anything like an electronics or any component for that matter, right? So it could be any industry like defense to medical to anything. So I think for India to really survive and thrive in this uncertainties is to become as dependent on ourselves as possible. It's like usually the vision of our Prime Minister around Atmanirbhar Bharat. That I think is real opportunity, and India has talent. That's another good part, right? I mean, if we get right capital, if we get the right ecosystem, we can do whatever we want to do. Probably the best in the global, if not better than anyone else. It will be at par, right? And time and again we have proved this across generations, across centuries, right? So I think the opportunity is real, the talents are real. All we need is the capital and a little bit of patience. So I think it's the golden opportunity for any entrepreneur to be in India right now and build around hardware. Anyway, AI is taking a lot of software play anyway, so we'll have to.
So on a closing note, Shibam and Manoj, I would like to say कि किस्मत की एक बहुत खूबसूरत आदत है कि वो वक्त आने पर बदलती है, और आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन से एक चीज़ क्लियर है कि ये जर्नी भी वही है, अ जर्नी ऑफ नज़र एंड सब्र. Nazar to see what others couldn't, and sabr to maintain your cool and calm in the tough times. Thank you both for the honesty and the grind and the story behind Atomberg. This wasn't just about building a company. It was about a belief. It was about a belief that manufacturing can be done in India. And kudos to both of you for pulling it off. And I wish you the best of luck for scaling Atomberg even more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Thank you for having us here. Really enjoyed it.